I once said something completely insane.
There is an argument that Jalen Hurts could be the top quarterback in the NFL.
And at the time, I knew it was a bit of a stretch and that I was going to get a ton of pushback. But I saw the way that Jalen's career was going to play out. And that's what this entire channel is about. It's about making predictions and having strong opinions about the way that these leagues, these teams, and these players are going to progress. When I'm wrong, you're going to hear about it. And when I'm right, you're going to hear about it. And it's your job to hold me accountable to those things and for us to debate in the comments if I'm totally off. And so here's my promise to you in this video. We are breaking down 2 key factors that I saw last season and before that tipped me off to the success that we're seeing from the Eagles now. And in breaking those things down today and recapping those things, my goal is to give you somewhat of a blueprint of what to look for this offseason and others that ultimately indicate which teams, which players, and which schemes are going to succeed. And if you aren't subscribed, these are the things and conversation you're missing. And so I hope you decide to join us as part of the Mish Monster Sports community, because I don't think you'll be disappointed. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about what Jalen Hurts looks like on the sideline in comparison to every other quarterback that you see on Sunday. Sometimes in life, people just have an it factor. And what I saw with Jalen as far back as 2 years ago is that the guy is completely unrattled. He is unscathed, he is unbothered, and has a laser focus that I simply have never seen before. And I understand that it's not something tangible that I can give you, like a stat or a play or a speech, but there is something about Jalen Hurts' poise that absolutely puts him in the conversation for a top 10 quarterback in this league. You have to understand that this is a guy who came from Alabama and was playing so poorly in the national championship game that he got replaced at halftime by a baby-faced Tua Tagovailoa, and Jalen went from being perhaps one of Alabama's worst passers in the last decade and a half to now a Super Bowl champion. When he came into the league, there's no way that you could have looked at his tape and said, this is an elite passer. In fact, it was quite the opposite. When Howie Roseman drafted him behind Carson Wentz, there were so many people who were critical of the move, especially with how fragile we know Carson Wentz is with formidable backup quarterbacks. But all Jalen has done since he stepped into this league and left Alabama is to work silently in the background. He is still likely never going to be a passer as good as Lamar Jackson. But what the dude is doing is getting 1% better every single day, and you're never gonna hear about it. What you get with Jalen is the ultimate decision maker, the ultimate leader, and the ultimate model stability and repeatability. And in a league where the team who wins the turnover battle almost always wins the game, the Eagles franchise has put themselves in a position to be a perennial contender moving forward for as long as that guy is at the helm. This is a player who plays within structure, who understands when to pull the ball and run for it, when to slide, when to take a deep shot, and when it's appropriate to confront dudes like AJ Brown when they're pouting. I'm pretty sure we didn't see a blow up on the sideline. And that's because when Jalen sits on that sideline, you have no idea if he's sitting in a church pew or he's sitting in a Super Bowl waiting to finish a game-winning drive. If you're a player on that team, there is absolutely no way that you can look at that guy and not want to take on some of that personality. Kid won the Super Bowl and you still can barely get him to crack a smile, and he's already talking about next year.
Till the fat lady saying, you know.
There's just something in his DNA, in his makeup, that if you see again, or even just a part of that, you know you have a special player. There are just some guys who have it, and at the NFL quarterback position, it isn't always about how pretty of a ball you throw. This is a guy that has the full package. Now, back in September, when I chose my division winners, a key reason that I put the Philadelphia Eagles decisively on top of that division was because of the acquisition of Vic Fangio. There's a reason that when Vic was in Miami, it simply wasn't a fit, because everything about Fangio's defenses are about discipline, adaptability, versatility, and hard work. And down in Miami, they don't have a culture of that, and they're certainly not going to have one with Mike McDaniel at the helm. So the second that the Eagles courted Fangio, I knew this league was in for a big problem. Because look at the way that Fangio's defenses have improved over the course of one offseason with him calling the defensive plays. Let's take a look. So the San Francisco 49ers, when he joined in 2011, their defense improved from 13th in points allowed to 2nd in his first season. They became a top 5 defense in both points and yards allowed during his tenure. Now, when he was with the Chicago Bears, that ultimately got him the Denver Broncos job, they improved from 20th in points allowed in 2014 to 14th in just his first year. By 2018, they ranked 1st in points allowed and 3rd in yards allowed. This is a guy who comes in, and if you have the right personnel who are willing to muddy up the defensive line and stop the run, can get that interior pressure and have a decent pass rusher on the end, Fangio is going to put you in the top 5 of defense. And it seems like he can do it with his eyes shut. And so his success is a combination of not only having elite defensive line talent and Howie Roseman's incredible drafts. Vic has done this with significantly less, and the Eagles were a team that had a nasty taste in their mouth after 2 seasons ago, getting nixed in the first round by my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a culture of winning at all costs, physicality, and an unapologetic attitude of domination at all costs. And this is a big reason that I understand this is an offensive league, but when Jeff Hafley went from being one of the top defensive guys in all of college football to the Green Bay Packers as their defensive coordinator, I said that that was going to be a major reason why that defense succeeded with just changing coordinators and acquiring Xavier McKinney. They were the top team in takeaways for like half the season. So I'm here to say that defensive coordinators matter more than they get credit for. And I think with a lot of Philadelphia still being very young and not getting paid, I think the rest of the NFL, and especially the NFC, needs to be very concerned about what Vic is going to be cooking up this offseason with a Super Bowl trophy behind his desk as he's coming in at 4 a.m. to just terrorize opposing offenses. So to recap, here are the things to look for with a young quarterback outside of his arm talent. Does he kind of work in the shadows regardless of what people are saying about him? Does he always say the right thing? Does he get rattled in big spots? Do his teammates take on his personality? Can he calm the storm when it inevitably comes? And have you seen a progression, whatever ability he's lacking in, since his college days? Is he getting better every year when all signs point to the fact that he shouldn't? And secondly, what do those defensive staff hires look like if they're paired with the right culture? Because surprisingly, with everything Fangio had accomplished before this season, he still had a chip on his shoulder, still felt like he was undervalued and had something to prove. And that's the whole story of the Philadelphia Eagles in the last 2 seasons, who felt like they were disrespected and deserved much better than the criticism that they were getting. So go take a look at those numbers before and after those defensive coordinators showed up, because the proof is in the pudding on this one. The numbers will tell the story. Is this guy an instant culture changer, even when he's been in situations that don't fit him well? As always, appreciate you stopping by. Would love to hear you in the comments. As I said at the top of this video, hit the like and subscribe button, because the NFL offseason is about to get very, very fun. And if you're an NBA fan, we are getting into the thick of it in the coming weeks, and we're going to be breaking down all of it. Thanks again. I will see you next time.